Hello and welcome. My name is Karen. This is the first in a series of guided meditations. We're going to start with the basics and build on the technique with a little more length as well as we move through. So today's meditation will be about 5 minutes long, just enough time to create a change in state. There's a couple of things before we begin that are really important, and the first one is as much physical comfort as you can manage. So you can sit cross-legged, but for most people, at least in this part of the world, this wouldn't be a comfortable way to sit. So you can sit up in a chair as long as you're not slouched back into the chair. So if you're sitting in a chair, try to sit up away from the back of the chair. You can also lie down on your back. With that posture, you may want to put a bolster underneath your knees or something like a pillow behind your head so you're really comfortable. Okay, so I'll give you a few moments to find a seat that feels good for you. And if you're sitting, try to soften your sitting bones down. And if you're lying on your back, tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. All right, now beyond physical posture, there's really one main assumption that I'd like to land on before we begin the practice. That is the attitude that we take towards meditation. And this took me a few false starts to really get into the practice without beating myself up about how it was going. So it's important that we come to the practice with an attitude of not trying to get anywhere or achieve anything. We're leaving a goal-oriented mindset aside. And it's crucial with this because if we do hold this goal of emptying our mind or getting to a space of calm or whatever that goal may be, the tension created between what you're experiencing and the idea of this goal is going to create a state that is less calm than it would be if you're just going with the flow. So we're trying to naturally lessen reactivity by trying not to make things a certain way. This is a do less, do less, do less kind of practice. Okay, there's more subtleties to that, but let's begin today just keeping it simple. Try to, instead of reacting to what arises in your experience, the idea is instead to just sit with it. And through that, we get to know it a little more closely. Okay, so your next step in moving towards meditation is to soften your eyelids. And this can be to fully close your eyes or to bring your gaze down on the ground. Also, bring some relaxation through your upper body. When your hands come to rest on your legs, they can be with your palms turned down or your palms turned up. Whichever feels like a more natural state that you can hold for a little while. And as you allow your body to settle into a greater state of stillness, working with gravity, also create some lift up through the back of your neck. This is, of course, if you're sitting. If you're lying down, just try to keep your spine well supported. But in either posture, we want to try to hold ourselves awake. So you can notice what's going on. And the big difference, as mentioned, is instead of reacting to it, we are going to sit with it. So there is the essence of the practice. All right, take a smooth inhale in through your nose. And a long exhale. we become still, a couple things can happen. One, you may start to notice more of what's coming through your senses. And this is really ideal as long as you don't try to react to them or respond to them. Just allow your sensory experience to be what it is. Sound and feeling, maybe smell. The second thing that can happen when you get still, and this is more when we're getting comfortable with the practice, is that your mind may wander off really easily. This is completely natural, and it's nothing that you want to be hard on yourself about, because it's really what the mind is accustomed to doing when you don't do anything else. So today I'm going to guide you into an image to help keep your mind from wandering, and also to hold the contents of your sensory experience so we can get a different kind of perspective. So I'd like you to imagine a pond, and you can just let that come to your mind's eye. It can be however vast or small a pond would be. And the pond is, of course, full of water. And on this day, as you observe the pond, there's noticeable ripples in the pond. And some of these ripples in the pond come from the wind, or perhaps a bird landing on the pond. And some of the movement in the pond also comes from bubbles from within the belly of the pond coming up to the surface. So these elements of movement that you may notice in the pond are all like elements of your own experience. Sometimes things coming at you from the outer world, and sometimes rising up within you. Now, the pond knows that there's nothing to be done about it, except to hold space for the contents of this experience. So allow yourself to be like that. The movement and ripples in the water, they don't stay forever. Just like the experiences that arise for you, however much you may feel them in a given moment, are most certainly going to change. The pond, by its nature, is calm. And the ripples in the pond are not what the pond is. just as what arises within you or what you react to from the outside does not define you. These things will also go if we allow them to go. Let your body be still. Your shoulders at ease. Thank you for practicing. Namaste.